Hey, this is Workin' Cactor, or as at least one person calls me, Rackin' Cactor. I guess that's what I get for picking a username that's supposed to be unpronounceable. Anyway, for this intro video, I'm basically just going to be explaining what Aleph One Pathways into Darkness is, and what I hope to achieve with these videos, so if you're just interested in the gameplay only, you might want to skip to the next video. Anyway, I ported this old Mac game. It came out in 1993 called Pathways into Darkness, which was created by Bungie, to the Aleph One engine, which is based on Marathon 2 source code, which is another Bungie game. So picking the Aleph One engine seemed appropriate. I think there's a lot of... It's a very similar engine, so there's a lot of shared code, I suspect. It feels very similar just playing it. And I'm just really familiar with creating content for this engine, so that's kind of why I did this, or why I was interested. My plan here with these videos is to record playthroughs of the entire game with a few different goals in mind. The obvious one is that it'll serve as a walkthrough or guide for anyone that might get stuck playing through the game, because there definitely are some things that you can easily get stuck on while playing through this game, or things that aren't obvious that you really need to know. So having a guide would be helpful. The second purpose is to explain certain decisions I made while making the port, or pointing out differences with the original game, because it's not an exact copy. There are a few minor things here and there that are different. And actually, while I'm recording these videos, I haven't actually released this port yet, so this playthrough kind of acts as a test for me, kind of one last run through the game, make sure it's ready before I release it. So anyway, let's start the game up. I included the manual for the original game in the download for this scenario, so you can read that to understand the plot. It goes into detail, explains why you're here, what your mission is. For now, I'm just going to oversimplify the plot and say that there's a sleeping creature at the bottom of the pyramid. We are in a pyramid right now. It's been sleeping there for thousands of years, but it's getting close to waking up and is starting to dream. So the creature's dreams are causing monsters to appear, and if we allow it to fully wake up, the world will be destroyed. So we have roughly 5 days to get to the bottom of this pyramid and set off a nuclear device in order to prevent the monster from waking up. So we need to arm the nuclear device and escape before it explodes, and we're kind of on a time limit. We were originally part of a team, but our parachute didn't open and we got separated from the rest of the team, and we lost all our supplies also. So the rest of the team likely has already gotten to this pyramid hours ago. So we kind of want to catch up to them or see what happened to them. So if we turn around, there's this door that doesn't open right behind us, so we can conclude from that we entered this pyramid and the door closed and locked behind us. So there's really only one way to go from here. I'll just show the inventory. So you can pull that up just by tapping the mic button. As you can see, we don't have much. We lost all our supplies. So in our canvas bag here, we've got a pistol, but there's no ammo for it, so it really doesn't do us any good. Map, watch. We can turn our flashlight on and off. There's really no reason to turn it off right now, so and you can see I took the images, the description of each of these images, I just ripped those straight from the original game. So when it says double click, that made sense in the original engine. It doesn't here. If you hit the action button, it'll do what double clicking would have done in the original engine. So You can see there we've got a clock on the top left of our screen. If you don't want to clutter your screen up with that, you can take your watch off. And that, that clock is nice because we are on a schedule here. We have to get out of here by afternoon Friday is kind of the latest. You want to be setting the bomb off. Otherwise, you'll be too late. The sleeping god will wake up and destroy the world. So let's see what we got here. Okay, right off the bat, we've got a dead person and a rune. You see a strange blue rune. One of the things I struggled with in this port was the scenery on the ground has to be a little bit higher off the ground than it would be in the original. That's because a lot of the scenery was actually placed slightly below the ground, like half of it would be below the ground, half of it would be above the ground. And in that engine, the whole sprite would render just fine. In this engine, it doesn't work quite as well. If you try to move half the sprite under the ground, you get kind of inconsistent results. Half the time, you won't see half the sprite. So I just kind of had to raise a lot of these things higher off the ground than they were in the original. I've gotten used to it by now. I don't even really notice. But anyway, that's one slight visual difference between this port and the original game. So if we step over this guy, it says he's a dead German soldier. So our team was American, so this isn't one of our team members that's dead here. So that's kind of interesting. I guess I wouldn't necessarily expect there to be other people that have been in this pyramid before, so that's kind of interesting. We can loot items off of the dead bodies just like the original game. You tap the same button, the mic button, to pull up. Usually it would pull up your inventory, but if you're standing over something that you can loot, it'll pull up their inventory, and then you can take their items using the action button. So I just took the pistol, and you heard that sound. That means we just earned a point. So he's got a copy of Mein Kampf here, so that kind of gives you an idea of the time frame that these people, these Germans, were in here, kind of during World War II. I guess I'll take it. Copy of Mein Kampf, that's got to be super useful later, I'm sure. Okay, so we looted that. So if you pull up the map, you can see where you are above ground, how many points do you have, how much treasure you've had, your weapon proficiencies, how much ammo you've got. So it says we've got 1 out of 41 points so far. That was just from picking up the pistol, was 1 point. So we've got a knife and a pistol now. So this door doesn't open. That door doesn't open either. So now we've got a decision. We can go right or left. Left takes you to lock and load, which leads you to a series of other levels. This direction is the right way to go first, because it leads to one level, just up and then back down, and it's got a yellow crystal, so that's important for learning the plot of the game. You have to get the yellow crystal, which allows you to talk to dead bodies, because you'll be finding a number of dead bodies throughout this game, and talking to them is how you learn, get information about the plot. What were these Germans doing here? Are there other groups of people? What were they doing? That kind of stuff. So it's important to get your yellow crystal, so that's in this direction. And okay, so we see this red rune right here. That's where you save your game. So just like the original, you can only save your game when you're standing on one of these red runes. So you just stand there and hit the action button, and the game is saved. So that's going to be it for this introduction video. I just wanted to talk about what the goals here are and give you a very basic introduction to what this port is. So I'm going to end the video here, and in the next one we'll go up this ladder and get into some actual gameplay. Thanks for watching.